You only know what you watch on movies or whatnot, but until it happens to you, that's when you're actually exposed to it.
Julie Baumer has lived what many may consider an ordinary life until 2005, when she says her life was changed forever.
I was found guilty. I was incarcerated.
Baumer says she was accused of child abuse in 2004 and was convicted a year later. Prosecutors claimed Baumer violently shook her 6-week-old nephew.
My sister gave birth to a child that she could not care for, and so I chose to care for him. Unfortunately, he had a health ailment.
Baumer took her nephew to the hospital, and doctors found a skull fracture and lots of blood.
That health ailment was misdiagnosed as being child abuse, and so I was sentenced to 10 to 15 years.
Baumer immediately started to appeal the decision, while she spent 4.5 years behind bars.
I was in my early 20s. I was a young single female, and I didn't expect for my formative years to be turned upside down.
Then came a big change in 2009. The University of Michigan's law school established the Michigan Innocence Clinic, and just months after its launch, they reached out to help Baumer.
Define it as a form of divine intervention.
The clinic allows law students to investigate and litigate prisoners' cases by proposing new evidence.
So Julie Baumer's case was one of the first we took in this clinic that involved changed medical evidence.
The clinic is unique in that it handles cases where there is no DNA to be tested.
But the vast majority of criminal cases don't actually have DNA evidence. So our clinic was created to look at this large category of cases, really about 90% of criminal convictions that have no DNA, yet could potentially have many people who've been wrongfully convicted.
Baumer's retrial came in 2010. Her attorneys were able to prove the baby was suffering from venous sinus thrombosis, a form of childhood stroke.
We had experts across the country evaluate her case, and they determined that the injuries were largely due to the traumatic birth that the child had had, and that it had nothing to do with any abusive conduct by Julie or anyone else.
Baumer was fully exonerated on October 15, 2010, but the struggles continued for Baumer after being released from prison.
Homelessness. You're without basic needs. You have no home, you have no insurance, you have no medical, you have no work.
There are still scars from her experience. So to give back to those who helped her in her fight for freedom, Baumer talks to law students with the Michigan Innocence Clinic every semester. She also works as a realtor in Metro Detroit.
I'm grateful that I'm where I'm at. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm where I'm at.
Blake Keller, WNEM TV5.
Blake also learned that more than 2,500 wrongly convicted people have been exonerated in the U.S. since 1989, including more than 100 from Michigan. And if you'd like to learn more about Julie's case and the Michigan Innocence Clinic, head to WNEM.com.